I'm ready. I'm ready. Are you all ready? Oop, up a little. Mic check.
Hello,
Mic check. Hello.
is it me you're looking for?
Nice. I can do what? Thank you so much for the hello bits, Dukasoft. Hello, hello, hello to you all, and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion, and today is another fantastic day to be a developer. It's Monday. It's a Monday. It's AI generated Monday. Let's have another doorway for this AI generated Monday. No, I kind of want one of these library scenes. I like these. I like these a lot. Oh, yeah. Go up there. I need to give it more space. I like these scenes. Anyway, hi, happy Monday to you all. Welcome back to another one of our streams where we work on our stream project, which is a Blazor full stack web development project. It is called the Financial Management Tracker. Where we are essentially making an app where you can manually input financial transactions, track your spending, track your savings, kind of thing. And the reason that I'm doing this app is because I am currently performing the things that this app does using an Access database, and I want to move it over to an actual Blazor app. We've been moving along slowly but surely. Where I have that open. I have that open. I have that open. But I don't have the app open. So let's get this over here. That goes there. And the financial management tracker is on port what? 7162 7176. Yeah. So this is the application here. We don't have authentication working, but I do plan on having authentication working eventually. So for now, we have just our data entry sheets, data entry forms. And all of these data entry forms are for their specific type. So for example, payments, deposits, and transfers. So payments are when you are moving money out of one account to some external account and or business. So like you're paying for something, you're buying groceries, buying fast food, whatever. Deposits are moving money into your tracked accounts, and transfers are moving money between your tracked accounts. How do you update your entities? Do you use .update or do you use state modified? I use track changes. So I retrieved the object that, well, that's what we're going to be doing today, by the way, and also hi. Finance man. We will be working on finishing up the last bits of the set deleted, and part of the mark deleted will be the update for the record. So that'll be my update process, but we will be using the approach where we get the record that we're going to modify. ML? ML? Doesn't have to be, no. So the approach that we're going to use is this update transaction async for both deleting and updating. or actually no, we do have a delete transaction, which is just going to be an update where we set the deleted flag to true and then save the record back. So the overall process that I use for updating records is query for it using, gosh, here it is, query for it, where it keeps track of the actual transaction record that we get back from the database. We update that specific record, and then we save it back to the database. And I do this all in a transaction, in a database transaction. I know, overloaded terms. We have financial transactions, which is just money moving and stuff, but database transactions where we make sure that the entire process of changing records happens. And if any part of that process fails, we roll back the entire process. So yeah, just query with track changes. I keep pointing up here. Query with track changes, make the edits, save the record back to the database. So the way that we would, the reason that we would use the update method is if we were getting a detached copy of the database record, then we would either do attach before making the changes, so context.attach, or we would do context.tablename.update and then pass in the updated value entity or model at that point in time, which will get turned into the entity. I don't know about set values and state modified, so I haven't needed to use that in a long time. So once again, that is if we are getting a record from the database. So if for some reason I put here as no tracking because I wanted to make the changes without tracking the changes, then we could go down here and say context.entry that object dot state equals entity state dot modified. And that's if we're manually identifying this record as being modified and then saving it back, but it has the same effect. So why not just use the tracked record that we get back from the database? Another thing that you could use that for is if you are in a server only project, then you could have an active connection to your database. Or a local database that your application talks to using Entity Framework, you could be using that entity object in your UI. And so any changes that get made to that are changes that are either being tracked, or if you did as no tracking, then you just kind of update, or the same thing that I just had, which is set the model state as modified before saving. Yeah, I really do think we do have the logic written already for oh yeah, I'm not using a deleted flag, I'm using a purge date flag to mark as deleted. That's why I didn't have a deleted flag in transaction. So if purge date is not null, then we know that this record is marked for deletion. So what that means is this database, this application, no, I guess it's database specific, will be the one that will permanently delete a transaction after so many days. But until then, it'll just be marked as for delete. I forgot that we did that. I use set values, my preferred one so far. Yeah, I've never used it before. Is it just instead of like what I'm doing here where I have a manual patch method, it will actually update that way. So context dot. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know which table I am looking for in my generic thing. But let's just say that I had. I guess it would do it automatically for me. Whoa. So yeah, in this case, I wouldn't need my own patch method. I'm interested. Let's see what that does. Press tab to win. Fetch entity by ID, and then current values, set values, your view model, or your view model as the entity model. Huh. Yeah, I want to see that work. I want to watch it work. So we're going to do the same in delete too. Or I guess we don't need to do the same in delete because the only thing that we're doing is setting a purge date. Yeah, so then the object that it'll take though, oh, it's any object as long as it has matching properties. Any property on the object with a name that matches a property in the entity type can be read, will be copied. Other properties will be ignored. That is awesome. So I don't even, well, I still do need a two entity model because it's not a one-to-one property name model name. Yeah, because we have payment details, for example. I don't think that's going to work for me because I have these navigation properties that are all part of my or my entity model that are called something else in my view model. So I still need to do this two entity. Okay, that's fine though. Still gonna work. It's still gonna be awesome. But here I don't need to. I can just query for the record, update the one field, and then save changes. Cool. Let's try it. So let's hook up this logic. We're gonna do delete first, just because that's the item, the work item that we picked up. GitHub. Apparently, apparently it just has the one edit thing, so it's both. But we are going to start with the delete functionality just because they're both going to be easy because everything is already set up. But there is less information being transmitted for a delete. It's just the record ID that we want to mark as deleted. Mark as to purge. So back to our transaction history row, which is the one that has the delete button. And we're going to get a dialog window that says show the confirm delete dialog. And I put that in the row itself. Here's the confirm delete transaction dialog. Yay, delete stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot to change my door knocker. Do I have another door knocker that I want to use? Door knocker. Those are doors. Where did I put my lion head knockers? Magical runes. A gremlin. Aha. Let's go with a 3/4 view of this one. Yes. Kirby. Hello, Kirby. Wait. Is that something inspired by Kirby? Okay. So here is our confirm delete transaction dialog modal that we made on Wednesday. Because Friday we had our community day and some good discussions about documentation. Document, document, document. This is the method that we need to populate to do the actual delete. We have a transaction service of the right type, and that's what we're going to use in order to delete, mark as deleted. Or are we going to use transaction state? What are we using to update the record? So for example, if we were doing something like updating the pending value, we're using transactions service to do it. To do still documentation. Oh my goodness. Never ending documents. Oh, whoa. All right. We're going to essentially take the same approach as no, we're not. We're going to use a different approach. We're going to get the transaction ID. So this transaction here is the object that is populating this component that we are passing in, which again is also the one that is populating the basic transaction row component. You can see that here. This transaction is the same transaction that is being used in the transaction row of type T. T. And what that will give us is the ability to just call var delete success equals transaction entry service tab to win, and this is await, which should have turned this into an async method, but it didn't. Dot delete transaction async, passing in the ID. We're not going to have a cancel button on this screen, which is fine. We're okay with that, I hope. Oh, that'll actually be current response. My bag. That'll be our current response. So we have this concept of a response model that every single one of our of our service calls will return back to us. And the response model contains information such as in, was there an error? Which is, were there any manually added error messages, exceptions, validation issues, as well as methods for being able to render the error as a render fragment or raw HTML, the ability to clear errors, add errors, and then keep track of the record that we are trying to delete, etc., etc. Cool. So that's what we're doing here. We're keeping track of, was it successful, trying to mark this record as deleted. If it was not successful, if it was successful, which I prefer to do my booleans like this, my null check then boolean was error. So if not was error, then we need to get rid of the record from our transaction history. So we need to update our list of transaction history, which we can find from our confirm toggle pending, where that's saving and updating. Yeah, so I think the best thing for us to do would be transactions state.remove transaction from history, which will also do the notify transactions changed. So let's go ahead and do that. Do we need it to be async? No, because notify transactions changed is a synchronous method, and we won't be doing any asynchronous stuff. Scott wants to know if Dukasoft is a software engineer. Dukasoft is a bot. He is a very, very, very intelligent bot. Botsoft. Hello, Disco. Clappy derp. I don't know if I can make my eyes go outward. I can only cross my eyes and then do the lazy one eye. It almost makes me do a thing with my mouth involuntarily. Whoa, I haven't done that for a long time. There's the other eye. There's both eyes, but I can't diverge them. Or not that far, at least. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Got me dizzy. Whoops. Okay, let's do this remove transaction method in our I transaction state. But if I understand correctly, Dukasoft has been doing software engineer related things, a lot of WordPress related stuff, but that's just what he has shared here so far. I don't know his full history. Man, I am super quiet. I turned my mic down because we were using it for karaoke over the weekend. Gosh, I love karaoke. And I forget to turn it up to a reasonable level. WordPress, what did I say? Did I say WPF? Maybe I said WordPress. Hopefully I said WordPress. Okay. I question my sanity every second of the day. Okay, here is remove transaction, and we're going to remove it by transaction ID. It's just going to be easier that way. And I don't know. I'm still going to have it return a bool, even though I most likely won't use it. I'm going to be dirty and say I created a WinForms app yesterday to import products into WordPress. You know what? I threw together it was WPF because I was trying to get better at WPF, but I threw together a WPF app that used the Blazor web view control to do some utility stuff as well. It's so nice, and you shouldn't feel dirty for this, but it's so nice to just be able to create a really quick app that does utility stuff for you automatically. And yeah, I love it. I think it's one of the coolest superpowers that devs have. Okay, we need to implement this the in both wait. Oh, it's only in the UI project. I was going to say in both the server and client side, but this is not a service. This is state, and state only applies to client side applications. And so we only have one place for our state, which is in the UI. Although we could move state completely to a back-end process. So if we really, really wanted to architect this even better, we could have state and all of the core logic in our backend and have the front end just be completely dumb and just say, I want this information. Give it to me. I don't care how it gets. Well, which we already have done, but you know what I mean. The server would be in charge of handling state. However, what this does for us is we offload that to the client. So the server doesn't need to maintain all that much stuff in memory. Unless, of course, we're running Blazor server, in which case it's holding everything in memory. Something. Hello, Thindle. Konnichiwa. Happy Monday to you, kind sir. Did you have a good weekend? I sure hope you did. Sunday was good. That's cool. Was it better than your week has gone? Well, you've been having a tough few weeks now. So really, 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 really wish the best for you. Oop, oop. Are you telling me that everything is implemented? I'll, I'll have a new interface method that it should be complaining about. There it goes. Been on 50% sick leave since early February, which means the government pays 80% of the 50% of my salary for that time. Jeez, that is not very much. Well, now that I know that it's healing energy that you're needing, then I'll send some of that. I'm a healer. Methods, yes, yes, and yes. Hmm. Yeah, I'm planning on actually, I'm going to do it now because I know that after the stream, I'm going to be so absorbed in cleaning. We are at a lull. I hesitate to call it a lull because there are things that will come up inevitably. But we're at kind of a lull because we are still in the process of getting the green light to release. So we're on code freeze where we're only doing bug fixes for what they find in test due to the new features that we've added and stuff and improvements that we've made. But that also means that we aren't actively, like, we are actively working on the next release and features for the next release and bug fixes and stuff, but those won't get pushed to the current production branch. So that's giving me just a little bit of time to do a whole bunch of cleanup and making the library, the CSS library, the entire component library easier to maintain, adding some automation. I'm really, really, really hoping to add Playwright so that it can do automated end-to-end testing of the UI. We already have a B unit project in there. I just need to actually do some unit test on the functionality components. But man, it feels nice to be able to take some time to do that. But anyway, as soon as I start doing that, I am going to be fully involved in it, and then I'm going to forget to text my parents because I have been wanting to follow up on them. My my dad is trying to be really, really nice and good. He's trying really hard. And in doing so, he contracted COVID and then he accidentally brought it home to my mom. And that was last week. So I'm going to text them now. Comes and goes, but right now I'm in the lowest slump I've ever been. Anyways, happier subjects. It comes and goes, but right now I'm in the lowest slump. Yeah, definitely understand that. And you are allowed to be in a slump, and you know that you have us as supporters and people that you can hold on to. You're not alone. And I hope that's not too cliche or it sounds inauthentic, but I'm genuine about that because I care very much about that. But yes, I do also have a CI pipeline that will run my test, but I was talking about for my work product. Oh, yeah, you don't have to worry about that at all. You feel how you feel and post. Post. As I get a call from an insurance company. No thanks. Just because I ask for quotes on insurance doesn't mean that I want phone calls. Dang it. Okay. Anyway, where are we? We are implementing the delete transaction from our state or remove transaction. It's not delete, it's just remove the transaction from our state. So what we do is there is a remove all link function that we can use on lists. I'm guessing right now. I'm trying to remember. A remove all that we can provide a link statement, a lambda expression, a function to remove the thing that we want to remove. And it won't error if that thing doesn't exist. So what we're going to do then is from our list of transactions, we want to remove the transaction that has a matching transaction ID because there will only ever be one. So transactions dot remove all predicate is what it's called. X dot transaction ID equals the passed in transaction ID. Now, what do you return for us? An int. An int denoting the number of elements removed. So we're going to immediately return transactions dot remove all, which will default to 0 if transactions is null, is greater than 0. And that will let us know whether it successfully removed a thing or not. Whoa, hello, Omni Digital. I've seen your name around. How are you doing? I love the emotes. Look at them. I'm in the way. Look at the beautifulness. What is this one doing? Oh, spooked. I like that. Same to you. I hope you're having a fantastic day as well. Oh my. They need to call twice. What am I working on today? We are working on a project called Transaction Financial Management Tracking Application. It's a full stack Blazor web development application. The reason we're working on this is because I used to be able to stream my day job, which was working in Blazor, maintaining a whole bunch of different types of applications. So we got to do a whole bunch of different type of Blazor development. And now I'm working for a completely different company, completely, because there's a lot of completely's in this explanation. That does not allow me to stream my day job essentially. So I've kind of knocked my stream down to 2 hours on Monday, Wednesday, Friday instead of streaming 6 hours every day of the week. Subject to change in the future. But yeah, so I still wanted to do Blazor. Completely explained. As long as you complete the explanation. I kind of almost dropped it. So we started this project 100 and some odd streams ago. And it is open source. It's on GitHub. You can find it at the link Dukasoft posted. Thank you so much, Dukasoft. Where you can see the process that we did in order to get the project up and running, where we started with what do we want this thing to do? What technologies do we want to use? How do we want to structure it? I didn't keep screenshots of my whiteboard because I don't draw very well and my handwriting is atrocious on the whiteboard. But we did some whiteboard stuff with coming up with the project structure, with the database design, a little bit of UI sketching. Then we moved on to Figma to do some more actual UI design on the project. And we came up with these key screens. And I came up with 3 different designs. I'm obviously going with the darker one. That's kind of this design, but with a little bit of the neumorphic design. Not much at all. I do like how neumorphic looks. It's just, it's not right for our application, I don't think. Then we came up with what our transaction entries are going to look like, which are just the same type of form, just with different fields based on whether you're inputting a payment, inputting a deposit, inputting a transfer. This is really just to track your own personal finances, your own spending, for those of us that like to do manual tracking of things. So like I'm currently doing this in an Access database, where I enter my transactions, the things that I pay for, the regular paychecks that I get, recurring bills, into this Access form, and it goes to a SQL database. And so I'm like, I've been a .NET developer for a long time, and I've really been wanting to move that into a web application for myself. And I was like, now's a great time. Let's use Blazor. Let's put it together. So that's what we have. We have ability to enter transactions in the types of payments when you buy something from somewhere else from one of these accounts, deposits when you get money from somewhere else for these accounts, transfer when you move money between these accounts, such as in paying off a credit card bill or moving from checking to savings, which you should be doing more often than moving from savings to checking. At least we hope. So we can enter all of those types. We can also mark them as deleted or indicate when they were actually posted. So right now I am removing the actual posted date from this record, which means that it was pending. I think I said deleted, which now shows up here as a parentheses. You will be losing an extra 139.68 from this account. And so this is how much is currently showing on your balance, but this is the real amount that is on your balance, including all pending transactions. And then we can mark them as no longer pending. Yeah, we still don't have actual monetary units in here. They're just numbers. So yeah. And we're currently working on this functionality here, where we want to be able to mark a record as deleted, which when we mark a record as deleted, it'll be marked with a purge date in the database. And you can undelete stuff. We don't have a UI for that, but you can undelete stuff by removing the purge date. Otherwise, it will be deleted from the database after that purge date. Yeah. Feels like a job for units.net. I have no idea what units.net is. It's loading is what it's doing. While we wait for that to load, let's go ahead and get back to this, the last bit of this logic for deleting, which is removing it from, oh, I already did. Success. I forgot that we also want to notify everything that our transactions list has changed. Okay, cool. Oh, it's a package. Well, we should have found it then. Okay. Strongly typed quantities to your code. I don't think that we need that because we need a way to be able to do currency exchange. So no, I don't think it's appropriate for this app. Thanks for the recommendation though. Yeah, so that's it. With a name like Omni Digital, do you stream? Are you a streamer by chance? I think you are. And you're hosting Code Red Games, who I'm currently watching on this screen over here. That's awesome. What is your schedule? Yes. Yes, I am following. Oh, and you do art? I have to see. I have to see. Oh, you don't have any saved videos? Any VODs? I love watching art streamers. I will be checking you out. But I need my 2 feet. I don't want my feet to turn into centimeters. Save 250 in cash, 250 in mortgage payments every month. You add like mortgage payments on top of interest. Not sure if it's called that. I think I understand. So like I pay extra into my escrow and I make sure that it's applied to the principal of my mortgage so that my principal goes down faster and I will be accruing less interest over time. And it's like an extra 250 bucks a month. And that goes a long way. For those of you that are doing any kind of loans or mortgages or anything, I strongly recommend doing extra payments towards your principal. Right. Or kind of. I pay $600 to the bank every month, out of which 250 is paying off the loan and 350 is paying back on the loan. So paying interest on the loan. And that 250 savings only they're locked into your property. Yep. Yeah. So that's what's called principal and interest. So the first number that you're putting is principal, the second number is interest. In America. I have no idea about the UK. I am not an accountant or a tax financial professional, but that's just something that I have picked up and it has proven to work for me. Paying that extra little bit into your principal. Runtime amortering. I would be able to 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 pronounce those. It's like Rayanta. Ranta. No. Nope. I got nothing. But it loosely translates to demortifying. Amortization, I think, maybe. It would be a better. Robbing? Is that really what Ronta? Ronta? I I can't pronounce your language. I'm so sorry for butchering it. Yeah, that's interest. Okay. Yeah, amortization. It's most pronounced as an eh. Like eh or e. Oh, yeah, right. I can do that. Banta, 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 banta. It almost sounds like the R is pronounced as an L. So it's almost a EAH sound. Ah, I'm pronouncing the N a little too much or too little. Ah, yeah. Saying a single word by itself and not in context is also weird. Especially since I tend to try to match the tone and pitch of the voice, and that voice was female or higher pitched. It's a machine, so it's neither male nor female, but it was a higher pitched voice. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. I think we're done with the logic. So let's see if removing the charge to our English shooter, our English store, English store, um, will be removed in the amount of 6468 from here, which means that we should decrease this amount by 6468. And we're really good at math, so we can do it in our head. Let's see if it works. I didn't actually tell it to do it, did I? Oh, I didn't tell it to dismiss the window. I don't know if it did anything. I should have had my DevTools open for that. Dag nabbit. Pay attention. I can't afford it. It's too expensive. Okay, so it didn't actually do anything with the transaction service. How much does it cost to pay attention? Too much. Okay. This would have removed it from our list of transactions that are printed out to the transaction history grid. This shows the dialog. This does the actual delete here. Some error. That's toggle pending. Try again. Okay, so I guess we need to find out if current response was error or not. But for now, let's just see if there was actually a HTTP request to this delete transactions here, because we're doing it from the client. we should be doing a HTTP request to the appropriate controller, which in this case will be payments controller /ID as a delete request. So that's what we should see. 2 ears equals 2 ears. To whatever the unit is, a financial management tracker. Yes, exactly. 2 monetary units. All right. I would like to clear. Wait, it was actually accumulate. Oh, because I refreshed. Clear that. Push delete. Nothing happens. You're not actually hooked up to anything? Nani? Where my delete button is at. I mean, where's my confirm button? Oh, we were in the middle of making this templated question dialog. So we took this dialog that we were reprinting over and over, and we saved like one step by adding all of the footer stuff. Since it's going to be in the same format every time, we added that here. But yeah, it looks like it's hooked up. So on confirmed clicked, we're supposed to do delete transaction. Is it possible? Well, no. I mean, we're using the same one that our confirmed toggle pending is using. Templated question dialog with the on confirm click and on cancel clicked. If you hadn't been uploading those to YouTube, I'd send you to the Brooklyn Nine-Nine clip with the sweets. You've sent me there a few times now. Okay. I need to figure out why we aren't actually hitting here for delete, because we should be going into this. So maybe it is not applying my code changes yet. Okay, so now it's applying my code changes, rebuilding the project, and we should be able to test delete right about meow. After it refreshes 6 times. Okay, so we are looking for a decrease in this, or an increase in this number by 6468. Okay, so this thing did the delete here, but I forgot to tell it to, I even told myself to do it. I forgot to tell this thing to dismiss on success. And it deletes from production. No. Okay, we'll be here. But yes, record ID number 6, record count 1, no errors, and it didn't remove the amount from my summaries window. So it updated our transaction history grid, but it did not update this number here. Or did it? This number is not taking into account deleted records. So we need to update the logic for how this thing calculates the current balance and adjusted balance using that purge state. If you guys don't know what that emote is from, it's from Big Gamey's channel. Little corgi with a heart. Kawaii. And those. Okay, But yes, that did work. So let's go fly a kite. Let's let's update the logic for getting the account summary balance really quick after we check in this change because we want to do minor or smaller incremental changes. Wow, that is a lot of change. Added functionality for uh, uh, marking a transaction with a purge date. Updated, because this is where we actually split out. That's what it is. Split out, created, I don't know, some word, created a templated question, reusable templated question component. That really should have been a commit by itself, but I didn't commit it. Pick Amy may or may not still be a baby. He seems to be perpetually stuck as a baby or an anime character or a cartoon character. And if you have no idea what Dukasoft is talking about, definitely check out Big Amy's channel. He is so cool. So laid back. So awesome. Great personality. Oh, so fun to be around his chat. And recently, Mrs. Big Gamey has been joining the chat funds. Okay, this is done, but we now need to say if it was not an error, do that thingy. Well, let's do it this way then. If current response question mark was error, then return. Don't do anything. Actually, you can refresh yourself, await, invoke async state has changed, then return and do nothing. Then we don't need another block down here for this logic, but this will all have been successful. Then we can say show equals false if show changed has delegate, then raise that event so that we can do the two-way binding for the show parameter. And that way the dialog window will close or hide, I guess. The other thing that we would want is our deleting. Actually, we'll go ahead and do it. Private bool deleting. In which case we will turn it on here. Turn it off here. Because this really should go super duper fast and we don't have to worry about needing to wait for too long between when the delete actually happens and when we remove it from our saved list of transactions. Cool. That should be handled. Ooh. Interesting. So not only do we have the show changed, but we also have an on confirm clicked, which it did for me and I wasn't even paying attention, which could have been dangerous because if on confirm click does not have a delegate, there is nothing to invoke. So if on confirm clicked has delegate, then we can call await on confirm click invoke async. And that's in case the calling parent needs to do anything else. Which the only thing that this does is it invokes state has changed so that we can make sure that the grid itself updates to remove that row. Okay, I think we're good to go. Right, one more thing. I think we're good to go. We will disable the confirm button and the cancel button if we are deleting. And that way you can't click confirm multiple times or confirm then cancel really fast. All right, that should be all of the logic that we need. So I'm going to go ahead and re-add that one transaction. Dude, stop jumping around. We're currently using the MS SQL local DB because I had a connection issue to my local SQL server for a time and I was scared. And then I ended up just going to local DB for a while. And now it's like I have a bunch of good records on here that are nice and clean. So we're just using it still. And that way we can use the local SQL server for our test app. That makes sense. Good job, you. We're looking for transactions. And we want to remove the purge date from you. Null. And that way it'll show up in here again. There be. So I want to see this number change, and I said that we need to update the logic for the account summary for this thing to change. So let's go ahead and do that. And that would be the account summary component. Refresh account summaries, get account summaries. Let's do the server side directly because the client side, it just does a HTTP request. So we need to filter out this list. Where, oh my goodness, x.purge date. Oh, that's accounts. Ooh. How am I gonna do? Oh, duh. We're x dot trans. It won't be here. It'll be here. It's got to be here. Yeah, here we go. So account.transactions where not x.purge date has value and cool. So we're grabbing only records that are not marked for delete. Good. We save that. We come back here. I don't know if it needed to reload or rebuild or what. I think it hot reloaded. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, Sovandarov. Sovandarov? Am I anywhere close? But thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the One Lion of Code show. This is One Lion's channel. This weird guy named One Lion who does weird stuff. He's doing Blazor. I am doing Blazor web development at the moment. And yeah, we're working on a mark deleted functionality, which I think we're done now. Everything should update appropriately. We should see this number increase by 68 or whatever we're deleting. Here we go. Ready? Success! That was exactly $68, 68 monetary units and 68 partial monetary units. Ooh. So delete functionality complete. There is no undelete currently, but right now it's only marked as delete. So it's fine. I don't have any automated processes that clean up the purge. Oh my goodness. Thank you to Kasat. All of these sounds that I'm not used to hearing. Brain of thought. I've lost it. I've lost my brain that can do thought. Oh, sound alerts are great for HSPs. It worked. Is that what I was trying to say? It worked. Delete works. We're not, I don't have any automated processes for purging after the purge date is gone. Oh, I really appreciate your bits. You have some really nice bits. They're very appreciated. Updated logic for calculating account summary amount and dismissed delete modal on success. My bits are the biggest in town. Second biggest, your bots are even bigger. Bots bits are even bigger. Anyway, bots is. I am going to just local commit because we have one more change to make. We need to get this edit to work. So what I would like edit to do is when we push the edit button, I would like to see a modal that has the appropriate form in it. So it should be fairly straightforward. We create a modal for our edit transaction, and then we just put one of our data entry components into it. Edit transaction modal. Raise up. Edit transaction modal dot raise up. Ranzor dot chess. And my mommy did write back to me, right? Is that what I saw? My mommy. Yeah, that's what I was asking about. Okay, we got a public partial. So this is the code behind file for my component. That's why I'm making it a public partial, because my component is also a C# class in the end. This thing is, I think we can still make this a templated question dialog with an OK cancel button or edit cancel button. because again, the thing that I have learned, and I don't know if this is 100% truth, but I believe it is good practice to use the name of the action that you're doing when you have a modal. So here, our action is delete. And here, our action is to remove the pending date. And then here, our action is to OK the pending date. Yes, we're going to OK the posted date. OK is a verb. That kind of still works, doesn't it? I'm going to use this thingy as my starting point. I am going to get some call behind for our parameters. And that looks like inject. Oh, right. We need some of t stuff. And yeah, we'll keep this as well. And we'll keep this. Sure. Why not? Keep it all. Keep it all. I hope I had it copied to my clipboard. Good. Good. Cool. You no longer have a handler for these. Edit. Confirm. Edit transaction. And cancel is going to be the same, so I can pull that one over. No. So many phone calls today. We will return task, completed task. And then we'll grab the handle cancel. It does too. I just made it. Okay. It just took a minute. Here's my cancel. Awesome. Okay. So let's make the UI first, even though I like making the other one first. We'll start by having a title for our edit transaction. So we'll add that to our localization dictionary, which will automatically generate for us this localization entries. No, it will not generate for us the localization entries. It will generate for us this code behind that gives us the, wow, does that mean that we're not actually using this? We're not actually using this. I need to get rid of that. Same thing with this. Yeah, I don't think we're actually using this. We're never asking for an iString localizer anymore. Oh yeah, we are. But that's in, yeah, that's in imports.razor, and we're not using shared localizer directly anymore. Let's do some quick cleanup of this. Because now we're using the auto-generated localizer. Yeah, cool. Okay, we get rid of this. Don't need that anymore. Don't need you. And we don't need the actual file. Go away. We make sure we build. Oops, which is not going to work because I was running at the same time. And the build is successful. Sagat. Okay, there you have it. We did the thing. Cleaned up. Removed. And we'll only do this project here. Stage. What happened to my underscore imports? Right, there you are. Stage. And stage. Removed unused localization class. Commit. Okay, so now we'll continue working on this, which we were going to. He's back. I am not back. I am Umberto. And you will do well to remember it. Our edit transactions. Do I just want it to say edit? Because we already have a localization string for edit. You have kids. Because you sounded like you have kids right there. I do not. I have 0 children. I have plans of having 0 children for the rest of my time. I will call you Shirley. I like kids, but I don't want my own assistant. I neither like them nor want them. We'll try both. We'll try edit transactions, edit transaction, which will say edit transaction. And then we'll try just edit and see which one we like. And then we'll remove this entry if we don't like it. Duke's house says Hetzkids equals 2. It's nice to be able to give them back when you get tired of playing with them. I see. Well, then that would be immediately for me. Immediately. Kids for each k arrows k.status equals status.sleep. Like I did babysit once for a short term. That was a long time ago. And then my mom used to babysit. So I had playmates, I guess you would call them. We have that, we have that. And we are going back over to our edit transaction modal so that we can change this title to be edit transaction. Okay, the question that it's not going to be a question, it's going to be a statement. And the statement will be, did I actually close the resources as soon as I finished with it? And mine isn't a method on myself. Mine would say kids.for each k arrows throw new argument exception. Moms don't like me for some reason, but kids love being airborne. Because they sure do. I am SE diminished. So any attempts that I would do at, I don't know, kids would just end up hurting them. edit transaction information instructions. Save that because I have no idea what I want the instructions to say yet, but we at least have the property generated. We'll update that in a minute. Then we essentially want, as I mentioned before, the correct data entry form based off of the transaction type, transaction entry type. And so we're going to grab the logic that we have for displaying it on our main page. With no header. That in here. Apparently we need the entry type local field. Oh my goodness, where am I trying to go? I'm trying to go to index. Nope, data entry, code behind. Grab this thingy here and on initialize. Set parameters is where we will get our entry types. So I will grab that as well. Copy. Coupe. This is our right place. Pasta you there. Saving. Just so we can use it. And it gets rid of the thing. Okay, so that will help us. What is ent type? What is ent type? Oh, this is from the page navigation. Okay, we're gonna have to get the entity type a different way. We're gonna get it from T instead. And Thindle says, don't worry, if there's anything I've learned, it's that kids tend to bounce. They're sturdier than they look. Again, moms tend not to like me though. No idea why. And then they poop. And you can just go up to them and be like, here, take this. I don't want it anymore. It smells. Or you could just completely avoid that entire situation and not interact with kids ever. Run away. I'm terrible. Here is our edit transaction thingy here. And instead of entry type, I kind of want the entry type still because there's a lot of stuff that's dependent on it. So on initialize, we're going to get the entry type. Which we're going to do this way. And it's just going to be a read-only property. I did the rename because that will update all of my usages. And here we are going to do entry type dot, capitalize this letter, delete the rest, put a comma. If transaction is null, transaction will not be null. So we don't need this. And finale, this is where we need, oh, I still needed you. This is where we need this, semicolon, delete. No, you're Umberto. See, you remembered. Aw. Thank you for fixing me. Okay. Do we currently have a way for our transaction data entry forms to accept a parameter that says, here is your current transaction record? We do not. So this can be nullable, nullable, nullable. So here's the thing. If we provide a deposit, then we want to make sure that we set this thing here that we're using to populate the data entry form with a clone of that. And I'm pretty sure I have a clone method on it. So let's see. Protected, no, public. Public override. I don't remember if it's void. I think it's void. It's task. Set parameters async. If parameters that try get value positive, yes. Except that again, we want this to be clone. Yes. Which we need it to be that type. Yes. And I think you're the one that told me about that one too. So the reason that I'm using set parameters here is because I want something to happen as soon as I am setting the parameter for deposit. And this will be my edit deposit. And so we're going to do this for all three of them. So I will copy. That was deposit. Here is now transfer. Do edit transfer. Pasta. We'll pick the parameter up here, and we'll change everything that says deposit to transfer. And that should work for that. And uno más. Payments. Code behind. Pasta. Apparently I was putting the parameter up here first instead of this thingy because it's harder to move this thingy. There's no step. Okay. Give me one of these spaces, put you down here, change you from new payment to edit payment. This is going to be harder because my line items my list of line items. Are on my edit payment. Okay, so that's fine. We're good. Change all deposit to payment. Okay, so I'm not fully paying attention. I'm not being the most careful, but I'm pretty sure that this is going to at least set it up so that when we have our dialog show up, it's going to have the right data showing inside of the data entry form. As soon as I tell it to, that is. Deposit is going to be transaction. Which is not a deposit. It is a, wait, no, it's a deposit entry view model. Oh, but deposit is a T currently. Oh, duh. We're doing it here. Transaction. And we're going to do pattern matching, which is a deposit entry view model. Deposit entry view model, that was right. Deposit entry view model. Deposit. Apparently I need the namespace. I thought that was available everywhere. Whatever. And then we'll do transfer entry view model, transfer. Oh, because I didn't actually name it. Case. Payment. Actually, you know what? That's dangerous. I think we'll do it this way. Var payment equals transaction as payment entry view model. That way this will be null, or this will be null if this thing is not castable to a payment entry view model. And this thing does accept nulls, and that way if we're trying to edit some transaction type that it doesn't know how to edit, it'll just use null. So like a new transaction data entry form would show up. New payment data entry form. By the way, I read somewhere that it's good to have parameter set parameter properties this and await base dot set parameter view dot empty before and after your logic and set parameters. It was said to be good practice and it's done by the .NET team. Is there a reason why? ChatGPT say it's generally good practice to call the set parameter properties and await base at the beginning and end. It's used to initialize, update the components, parameters. It contains new parameters, which sets the cascading parameters property to an empty parameter view. Blazor components can be re-rendered multiple times, and you want to make sure your component state is consistent with its parameters. You ensure that any cascading parameters that may affect the component are updated after your logic is completed. Okay, so in this case, I don't have any cascading parameters. And this sounds like it is specific to if you're using cascading parameters, then you should have set parameters or set parameter properties. Why? Because ChatGPT says so. Yeah, if you can, like, I will be convinced if there is something that is specific to my code indicating why. So like this makes sense because we're using authentication state and that is a cascading parameter. I mean, it's 2 lines of code, so why not? It's essentially if there was extra logic that I needed to do inside of here, which there isn't extra logic, but if there was extra logic that I needed to do here that depended on other parameters being set, such as my authentication state or any cascading parameters, then the first thing that I would want to do before doing that logic is parameters dot set parameter properties in this component. Then do this stuff, and then parameters dot parameter view dot empty. Because, and we're calling this because we have already set the parameters that were being added here. I won't need to do that either. So this is going to be just as good as if I put await base, since it's the only asynchronous method that I have. So this will still be awaited from the caller. But if this thing did asynchronous stuff, then I would also put await. Like there is no try get value async, right? Didn't think so. Oh, this is wrong. Oh, it's not wrong, it's just inconsistent. Hello, Roy Lisi. How are you on this fantastic Monday? We're going to call you payment. We're going to call you, you're already deposit, and we're going to call you transfer. And then we're going to take, I hope you are well. Welcome to the 1 line of code stream, where we are doing a Blazor web development project, full stack project, not just web development, but this is also cross-platform with the help of Maui and also WPF. Just showing that you can have any number of projects, .NET projects, and they can all use the exact same Blazor user interface, and then the client side can use the exact same logic, server side can use the exact same logic across multiple apps. It's a nice. I'm great. How's the project going? What's it about? Give me a quick rundown. Don't waste much time. I won't waste much time because I always think that it's worth it to let you know. So this is a financial management tracking application where you are in charge of your own finances, track your spending and savings habits. And how's that for selling it? So currently I track my own personal finances in an Access database because I like to enter the transactions myself, how much money I'm spending, how much money I'm saving, and how much money I'm moving between accounts. And so this is a .NET Blazor version of that Access database. But at the same time, it is a full stack application that we can do together as a community. I have it on GitHub, as Dukasoft kindly put in the chat, where most of the functionality is there. Most of the UI is there. No, not most of the UI. I guess that's not a wrong statement. Most of the UI is there. It's just not pretty. So there's still a lot of cleanup to be done on the UI. Still a lot of stuff that we can do. But for the most part, it's going. We're almost there. So we're just adding the ability to edit transactions. And I am trying to follow best practices while we do this. I was doing test-driven development up front and then just kind of got tedious and really wanted to get more of this project done than we were getting done, but we at least showed that you can that we know how to mock the database, and we know how to mock our services so that we are testing just that one little bit of code that we need to test, such as the get transactions functionality, or get single transaction, or add to the list of transactions, or update an existing, or delete an existing. And so we have all of those. Those tests do pass, I believe. They do not pass currently. They used to pass, and because I hadn't been keeping up with it, I'm obviously failing at that. But we'll get back to them. But they passed at one point. The other thing that just came up from Stream Elements is B unit. So the testing project that we are using is a B unit project, and that is made by one of our friends, Eagle Hansen, and it is used for essentially unit testing your Blazor components. But you can also use your favorite testing framework, such as in XUnit, which is what I'm using, to do unit testing on your service methods, or end-to-end testing, or integration testing, or whatever other kind of testing you can do with regular XUnit project, you can do with this B unit project. It just adds the ability to unit test your components. And Bob Ross is here. What a treat. What a treat. Hello, Bob Ross. I see you were talking about ChatGPT. Scott was, and yeah, we're just saying ChatGPT is always right. So trust everything that it says. Hashtag lies. It shouldn't, well, I mean, you're allowed to be scared by ChatGPT. You're definitely allowed. I will not tell you that you shouldn't be scared of it, because you're scared of what you're scared of. However, I am very oh, awesome. Thank you so much for the follows, Sylvan Drop. Wait, why isn't that updating? That was actually you, Roy Lisi. Thank you so much for the follow. I think it was you, but it's not updating in my activity feed. That's weird. So I stream on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for 2 hours, 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Mountain Time, which is currently UTC -6. So we have about 10-ish, 15-ish minutes to go before I need to get back to my actual day job. But one day soon, this is going to be my day job, to actually part of the streaming stuff too. At least I hope. So anyway, keep talking, Bob Ross. Why does ChatGPT actually scare you? Actually, I always catch the stream right at the very end. Not always. Sometimes you miss it completely. I'm kidding. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I used to stream from about 8 o'clock until 3:30 Mountain Time. So 6-ish hours, 8:30 to 3:30. That's 7 hours, isn't it? I don't remember when I used to start streaming, but it was about 6 to 6.5 hours every day, every weekday, until I couldn't. AI will take over the world. And the rare 8 to 9 hour stream. Yep. Okay, so coding patterns you're looking for are shown below. The error message is generated by the renderer. It's passing in the parameter view, tracks it, and expects it to be consumed immediately, synchronously. The parameters within the object could be very stale in a second, which is true. But this method here, the one that we're using it in, that we're going to keep updating, will take less than 1 millisecond to complete. So I don't know. If I was doing other kinds of heavy processing, then it would matter more. But continuing to read more, it says the parameters and the pattern, we consume the parameters immediately, applying it to the component instance properties. We then call base at our leisure, passing an empty parameter view as we've already set them. Yeah, so definitely makes sense. It's a pattern ASP.NET Core team seems to use. You can see it in their code for input base. And then the follow-up on that is the code for input base. And then you can see it somewhere down here. Yeah, and they're doing a lot of stuff. So I don't know that it's like you should do this every time, but do it when appropriate. But also, it is very inexpensive to do. It is only 2 lines of code, maybe 1 line of code extra. Just you would need to remember this last part. So there's no reason not to do it, really. Here. And so we will do it. We'll do it here as well. And this is where I was actually looking for, but I'm glad that we saw the other one. Ask ChatGPT when it will take over the world. But yeah, so Bob Ross, I'm not super worried about that myself, even if it does take over the world. Again, not the most concerned. But the thing that really matters to me with ChatGPT is the ability to use it as a tool, or just any generative model or any kind of AI assistive technology, using it as a tool and not getting so caught up in this is going to take away jobs, this is going to ruin things. It has the potential for it. I am not discrediting that. But if we use it in a way that is, let's see what we can now do using this as a tool, and then make it even more impressive, make what we can create be even more impressive. The pitfall is that we could fall into easily is everything becomes even more derivative and starts to look the same, as opposed to original thinking, which again, it's already derivative. I don't think that there is very much in our current world that can be called original. If anything, I have trouble thinking about that, where everything is based off of some other previous thought. So I would call that a derivative. It's just the creative means by which you put these existing things together in this way that you have come up with that I think is the creative part. And you can still do that with ChatGPT, with generative models, with Stable Diffusion, for example, because I'm stuck on Stable Diffusion. I would think making the method async and awaiting base.set would speed up the process lifecycle. Not by much. Not by much. So what's going to happen here is this is going to be awaited from someone up here, and that's going to create our state machine to do this asynchronous method, asynchronous functionality, where all of this stuff here is synchronous. So there's no gain in making this method asynchronous, except that when you call await base.set parameters here, you're actually creating a new state machine that this thing will need to return to this. And the only thing that this does is returns that back to the thing that called it. So that's an extra step needed when you do another await, when you're not doing any other asynchronous stuff up here. And again, it's really negligible, especially in this scenario where there isn't much going on. But Barbarossa is saying, I don't think it'll take away jobs, but I'm worried that AI will become dangerous and will be used in a way that hurts the internet per se or people in general. For example, AI could easily be used to come up with an algorithm to crack passwords, government systems. Yeah, yeah. So it'll also force people in those industries and security industries to come up with better practices with stronger ciphers, for example. So those jobs are going to be secure. Um, yeah. Again, it is shifting the paradigm of the type of work that we do. When we went from using a typewriter to a computer, it shifted the paradigm of how we do work. Like we could backspace and erase things without needing to switch out the paper and be like, oh, we have to start completely over because I don't want white out all over my paper. I want this to be a clean sheet. Now we put everything on a screen and we edit it however we want and then output the final product. And so that was a step forward, but that also got rid of the need for people to be very, very good and proficient at typing. And now people with less typing skills can do the same job. Yeah. It just goes on and on from there. There are tons of examples, tons of analogies that I just did. Why would you put a link that you don't want me to click? It's the same link, that's why. Yeah, I mean there are just examples that you can go over and over, rehash it, but the end result is we're just gaining a new methodology, a new way to do software development, for example, with ChatGPT. I don't know why I clicked on the number. I wanted to close that. I just wondered what ChatGPT thought about await and return task. And I've watched a few videos on it. Nick Chapsis is probably one of the go-to people for things like this, where he actually discussed, he benchmarked and discussed um, async async await versus return the task, which I think is this one. And I don't remember what the overall answer was that he came up with, but I did watch this whole video and I'm like, it's not enough for me to change my behavior in returning the task if the only thing that I'm doing in that async method is at the very end. So that I think is this, in case you are interested in seeing it. But he also does go into a little bit on on what async await actually does. And I can't remember where he does that one. And then there was the other async await NDC thing that I look for over and over, which is this one, this one, this one. Yeah, definitely this one with Brandon Minnick. I keep forgetting that it was Brandon that did this one. I say that like I know him. I don't know Brandon Minnick personally, but he was on the Xamarin team. Not exactly sure what he's doing now. Yeah. Or for creation not found. Dixoft. That's the definition. What happened to create it? Create it? Create what? Returning the task kills the stack trace, I believe. No. The thing that kills the stack trace is return, or not return, is task.run. Or the fire and forget task.wait. Oh, geez, we're way up here. Okay. Um, someone who destroys things. Do you guys know where the word saboteur comes from? Someone who destroys things on purpose. Saboteur. Dukasoft copy pasted this. Saboteur is a noun that is fairly new to the English language. It was first used in the early 1900s, and it refers to a person who deliberately destroys or obstructs something. It comes from the French word saboteur. I probably used too many syllables in that. It's probably just sab. Anyway, which really and truly means to kick something with an old-fashioned wooden shoe. Returning the task kills the stackers, I believe. Nick Chaps, this is great. Phone alarm is going off to let me know that we need to quit soon. That's the definition. What happened to create it? I don't know what happened to create it though. It has to do with computers, which the word saboteur. The theory is that these employees threw their wooden clogs, the French word for clogs is sabots, sabots, no idea, into the delicate machinery to wreak havoc. So, the absolutely first use of punch cards was, where are we in this? What does this have to do with our topic? Punch cards was automatic weaving machines. The manual weavers didn't appreciate losing their jobs to computers. Okay, that's related. I can see that. It'll transform jobs. I don't think the jobs will go away. Well, yeah, jobs will go away. I mean, machinery did automate certain jobs. Oh, and so now we're getting to what developers are going to do is somehow find a way to sabotage AI so that they can keep their jobs. At least I think that's the claim. Transfer. Pause it. Okay, so let's see before I end the stream. Oh, it was just that people hate change. Truth. Or people as a concept hate change. Yes. I'm going to qualify my statements because not everybody hates change. Not all peoples hate change. There are groups and societies that are all about change. But then there are much more, I would say much more, but this is only opinion, of people that hate change. Like, I don't like low code, no code solutions. I like the ability to customize the software that I'm working on and to write code. I will use it if I have to, if that's what the job becomes, but my preference is to write code. So I don't know that if that means that I hate change, but I definitely would be resistant to going to everything must be low code, no code. Otherwise, you're not doing it right. Okay, let's just see if we can get something on our screen, and then I will enter. I will end the stream. So let's make sure that we rebuilt. If there were any code changes that I made that needed to be rebuilt, we need to add the edit transaction modal to our basic trans row. Edit transaction modal. T is T, transaction show confirm is show edit dialog. Invoke async. Go back to the code behind. Any hiccups? Just a few. And on handle edit, True. Okay, and it looks like we aren't going to need any of these to be tasks. They can just be void. We'll do that shortly. Let's just see if this works. Here we go. Again, any code changes, any hiccups. Whoosh, nothing showed up. Are you not actually applying my... You gotta push the save button, kid. Gotta push the save button. Wait for this thing to refresh. And I would like to edit my transaction for... Thank you for your bits. You really don't have to use the bits, man. I appreciate it though. And there we go. We have an edit transaction. This one was a payment, was it? This one was a payment. I think it's a payment. Yeah. We're using our credit charge to pay for something. We can't see the buttons at the bottom because overflow Y is visible, but it's flowing beyond the bottom of the screen and we can't scroll down that far, but we'll see it. But here it is. We have our transaction date, the payee, a memo if there was one. We have our list of line items for this specific transaction that we will be able to edit, the posted date, the account that was used to pay for it, and then we can update it there. So there we go. We just need the buttons to show up and to get this thing to fit inside of this modal, and then we'll be good to go. So we will do that on Wednesday, but for now... For now, I'm going to be an invisible voice. For now, we're going to end the stream. I want to thank you all once again for the fun times, for all of you being here. Really appreciate you. If Thindle, if you're streaming tomorrow, then absolutely. And live coding was here as per usual. Just being quiet, 100% okay. If you guys aren't already following Thindle, definitely give him a follow. Fantastic streamer. As Dugasoft posted, check us out on Discord. Everyone is welcome. Newbies, experienced people, opinionated people. We need your help. We want to help you. All of the above. Everyone there is really cool. So feel free to join our Discord and ask for help, offer help, and just be. Just be, Freddie. Just be. I will be posting this video no sooner than 24 hours after I end the stream. Friday's stream wasn't posted until this morning because I forgot, but it's fine. And yeah, I'm going to get back to work for the rest of the day. For now, I want to take a glance at my resources, such as in this one. Rated finite, rated solus ellipsist, we rated Cetilix, we rated Red Cabin, okay, so it looks like it has been a while since we've rated Code Red Games, who I've been lurking on. He's working on a game called Rogue Blight, and he's a game developer, so if you don't like watching game development, then you definitely don't have to stick around. But if you do like watching Unity development, like I do, then definitely feel free to stick around for the raid to Code Red Games. Hopefully I spelled it right. And we will see you over there. Raid them all. Yeah. Then it says, fun fact, I got a key to the test version, and Roguelite is really hard, but very, very, very fun. Yeah, you can get a Roguelite key for 4,000 channel points, I think. 5,000 channel points. So if you hang out on Code Red's channel for a while, you may get enough points to get a key to the demo. Or test version, or whatever it's called. But yeah, that's going to be it for me for now. I will see you all in the next, or whenever you show up again. And we are still awaiting the coffee. I'm no good at sarcasm. That was sarcasm. Okay, ciao for now. Here goes my camera and my microphone.